On Britain's streets, a battle is raging. Over 11 million of us rent.
Oh, God.
But thousands fall victim to rogue landlords.
There's just water cascading through here.
Why should I live like this?
2 million of us are private landlords.
He's owed almost £10,000 in rent.
But many face financial ruin at the hands of bad tenants.
You're supposed to be out by yesterday.
Well, we're still here.
Get your hands up.
Don't push.
And that is what you're dealing with.
In this series, we're on the front line with the enforcement officers who crack down on rogue landlords.
There's a lot of scams going on.
This is gross exploitation. It just can't continue.
And the experts whose job it is to evict bad tenants.
This kind of stump boils my blood.
It can be a little bit scary at times. Hey! Go! We called the police!
I do not remember giving my permission for a caravan.
In this episode, we return to some of our most dramatic stories. A landlord battles to regain her family home.
I love that house.
I was shocked. Someone that was helping can actually do this to me.
A young mother is locked out of her flat after helping a friend.
And he just left me homeless.
Wanna have a chat?
The court said you had to be out yesterday.
And a landlord goes head-to-head with a tenant who won't pay up.
Do you owe £5.5 grand?
I am going to
You
go
owe us
now.
£5.5 grand.
I want to knock her out. I'm actually living now.
February 2017, and seamstress Carla Shoebridge-Hart is on her way to inspect her 3-bed rental property. Owed over £9,000 in missing rent, her relationship with her tenants is at breaking point, which is why she's brought along best friend B for moral support.
They seemed very nice people, and they were over the moon when I said yes, they could have the house. We agreed on the rent, and they moved in.
That was 2 years ago, and they haven't paid the full rent since.
The debt just increased. And I think it was one of these scenarios that we come across this a lot, where unfortunately the tenants have fallen hard times.
The arrears have got so bad, Carla's worried she won't make the mortgage payments.
I'm really, really struggling at the moment, and I don't want to lose my house.
Despite the missing rent, Carla's still obliged by law to maintain the property.
What I will be doing today is I will be going through the house. Right then. Hello.
See around the oven needs doing, because it started to melt the door.
I have been decorating here.
The fact her tenants have repainted a room in a different colour without her permission is another provocation.
Oh, bloody hell. Dog poo or whatever. Whatever. Okay, right then. Yes, I need to get out. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Thank you.
But it's the family caravan sitting on the front lawn that's the final straw for Carla.
I do not remember giving my permission for a caravan being parked out here.
No problems. I will move it. That's not a problem.
Well, it would have been nice to be asked first.
All right, okay.
If you've got a caravan, it could be deemed as a luxury. So seeing the caravan there, I just think it was something that just tripped her into getting really upset.
I'm sorry about that. I love that house. It was a dream come true for me. And to lose it, because I've tried to help people, and they still, you know, they say, oh, this isn't working, that isn't working, and this needs to be done, and that needs to be done, you know, and... I just don't know. I just... suppose if it was me, I'd be swearing. But I just don't like, I don't like swearing. So, you know, magnolia. We tried to get it as close, or whatever she said there, to the colour. I don't want anything close. It was painted magnolia. What is difficult about magnolia?
After 2 years of fighting for her rent, Carla is at breaking point, both emotionally and financially. She's decided it's time to take her tenants to court and get them out. It's March 2017 and Rachel Barham and her partner Chris are on their way to Woolwich County Court. Rachel's tenant Teresa owes her nearly £5,500 in rent. For the past 5 months, she hasn't paid a penny.
She paid 1 month, 2.5 weeks late. The second month was 2 weeks late and she only paid half of it. And since then, she's not paid anything.
The pressure has taken its toll on Rachel and on her relationship with Chris.
It's going into thousands and thousands of money that's owed. That's an awful lot of money. It's just a stressful time, you know. We don't need something like this. We're suffering majorly, and you can see it with Rachel.
We argue a lot because it is my property. Chris wants to get involved, he wants to go round there. And to be honest, I'm quite happy. I want to go round there myself and knock her out. It's infuriating. This is my pension, and I've worked hard for this.
Today, it's make or break. Rachel's banking on the court evicting her tenant. If not, she's likely to lose thousands more in missing rent and legal fees. Waiting for them outside the courthouse is their legal advisor, Sasha Gain, from Landlord Advice.
Sasha, nice to meet you.
And you?
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Okay, so I've just been into the court and they have notified us that the tenant will be attending today.
Right, okay.
So there is
Okay.
a possibility that they will be filing a last-minute defence.
It looks like the tenant, Teresa, is prepared to fight the case.
There she is now.
Just turned up. That's her.
There she
That's
is.
her there.
If Teresa does put up a strong defence, the case could be adjourned for months. This would be a financial nightmare for Rachel, as she's struggling to pay the mortgage on her rental property.
If things get delayed, I potentially miss my mortgage repayments, which at the end of the day potentially means me losing my property. And trust me, it won't be nice after that.
Right, I believe it's time to go in.
Cool, perfect.
Brilliant.
Let's go.
Half an hour later, the hearing is over. The court has awarded Rachel a possession order, which gives Teresa 14 days to leave the property. If she refuses, Rachel has the right to physically evict her the following week.
2 weeks' notice,
Oh.
and then straight to High Court. So in theory, she'll be out in about 3 weeks.
She'll be gone, yeah.
April 2017, and mother of one, Hamdi Abdul Qadir, is returning to the flat she once called home. 10 months ago, in an act of generosity, she let some acquaintances stay in her 2-bedroom flat for free. She was away studying, so the flat was empty, and Hamdi wanted to help them get back on their feet. The family have long outstayed their welcome.
Hello, Hussein.
And nearly a year on, Hamdi is making one final attempt to get them to leave.
I just want to speak to him just to see whether maybe I can reason with him, to see that we don't have to go through court and through all that hassle. Maybe he will just move out of my house. This guy, originally, I started helping him last year, January, because he was homeless with his wife, and his wife was pregnant at that time, and they had a 6-7-year-old son. Initially, it was only for 1 month that I offered to help. After 1 month, he asked for another month. I did extend it freely, but in March, he was meant to move out, and he refused. And since, I've been in this battle, getting him out of my house.
If you put somebody in there as a favour, once they go in there and they don't leave, you've got no option. You have to get a court order. And that opens up its own kind of worms.
Pregnant herself, Hamdi demanded her flat back. Not only did they refuse to leave, but they locked her out of her own home.
I was shocked that he just changed the locks. I could not believe that someone can do that. And he just left me homeless. When you've got someone that depends on you, it's not that easy. You know, I feel like I've let him down.
With nowhere else to go, Hamdi has been forced to live at her mum's house. There's no space for her husband, who's living somewhere else, so she shares this small room with her baby.
I'm in this room because I've been kicked out by people that I was helping temporarily. Now they've made me homeless and I'm staying in this room. I don't know if I've got a word for it, how I feel. You know, I just feel gutted.
Hamdi desperately needs her home back.
Oh. Sorry.
There's a ray of hope. She's going to court in a few weeks to try and win back possession. Rachel Barham and her partner Chris are trying to evict a tenant who owes her over £5,500. The fight is personal. Rachel's property is not simply an investment. She used to live here.
It was my first house. I lived there for just over 11 years. It was my pride and joy, and now it's kind of ruined it. All those memories, they're not quite the same. It's kind of, I look at that house and just think, I hate you. But it's not the house, it's her.
15 days ago, Rachel won a possession order at court, giving her tenant Teresa 2 weeks to move out. Now they're heading to the property to see whether she's obeyed it.
Part of me is hoping that she's not there so I don't have to talk to her. I'm
the
so
complete
angry,
opposite. I think it's always best to face it head on so we know what's going on then.
It appears Teresa's ignored the court order.
Well, she hasn't moved out because her stuff, unless she's left all her stuff behind, because there's still stuff on the windowsills. It doesn't exactly look like she's made an effort to pack up, does it? I'm looking at it thinking, I've got the keys in my pocket and I can't even walk through that front door.
By law, Rachel can't enter the property until her tenant has left. The only thing she can do is call her legal advisor, Sasha, and order in the bailiffs.
We've literally just turned up at the property and as we expected, it looks like she's still living there. So,
OK, what a nightmare.
Exactly. So we obviously have to go to the next step and get bailiffs.
OK, that's fine. We can get that done for you.
Okay.
Don't worry too much. We'll hopefully get this process accelerated as you do have the option to go to the High Court.
Yep.
OK, so we can begin this process for you.
Lovely.
OK, so leave it with us and don't worry.
OK, perfect. Thank you. Thank you for your help.
Nightmare.
How much does that cost?
Yeah.
Rachel is already more than £5,000 out of pocket. Paying another £1,000 for the High Court enforcement agents is the last thing she wants to do. But just before they leave,
Want to have a chat?
they spot Teresa arriving and the chance to persuade her to go.
Hello, you all right?
Yeah.
What's going on?
You meant to be out today. Or you meant to be out yesterday. The court said you had to be out yesterday.
But with the letter.
Do you owe £5,500?
Have you got £5,500 sitting in your bank account?
No, I'm waiting for the house.
So what makes you think I've got £5,500 that I can afford?
I'm gonna go now.
No, you're not. You've said all this before.
I am gonna go
You owe us
now.
£5,500.
Yeah, but I'm gonna go
It's fine.
Pathetic.
The bailiffs will be there soon, so
Pathetic.
don't worry. I'm actually livid now. There's no apology, there's no...
She says, I'm not
sorry.
getting out without a letter. I'm
I'm-
not getting out without a letter. So exactly what I said from the beginning, she's taking the piss.
I'm glad I was sitting in the car because at one point I was going to get out, but I'm glad I didn't.
It's left with the bailiffs.
Yeah.
They'll do their thing and we'll come back when she's out in a week or so. That's it. There's nothing else we can do now.
Angry and frustrated, Chris and Rachel's only option now is to wait for the enforcement agents to do their job. Hamdi Abdul Qadir is at the end of her tether. 10 months ago, she allowed a family to stay in her flat rent-free, and they've refused to move out. Today, she's heading to court, hoping to have them evicted.
I was shocked. Someone that I was helping can actually do this to me. It's caused me a lot of pain. You know, put me in this situation where me and my baby are just homeless, unsettled.
The real irony of all this is that those people that do the favours are the ones who are least able to afford the consequences when the favour turns sour.
The case is far from clear-cut. Because she originally invited the couple in and there's no tenancy agreement, they could argue they have a legal right to be there.
It's very important for me, the decision to go my way, so I can get my house back.
The court hearing takes less than an hour.
Yes, I got it. I got the possession order. After 14 days, hopefully I'll get my flat back. I'm very happy. Oh, relieved, I think is the word, mainly. Yeah.
Her tenants have been given 14 days to get out of her house. Hamdi and her son should be reunited with her husband and back in their flat within a month.
Very happy. Very happy. Are you vomiting?
Weeks later, there's a dramatic turn of events. Hamdi's tenants appeal and overturn the possession order.
When I saw that the defendant has filed defense form and that the case is being put aside, my heart nearly dropped on the floor, honestly. And I started crying.
They claim they have a verbal tenancy agreement and pay Hamdi in cash. The court has given them time to provide evidence proving they're legitimate tenants.
In these cases where you've done someone a favour, you never anticipate there's going to be any ever problem because all you're doing is a favour. So when it does turn sour, the effect is so more profound because where does it come from? This was never, ever in the script.
I just feel angry. I feel really angry. And I feel like going to my house and just changing the locks. It's my house. The law is not fair. It's not fair.
Hamdi denies she received any rent from her guests. But now there's a real risk she will have to start the eviction process again, leaving her bedding down with her baby in her mum's house for 6 more months. Time has run out for Rachel Barham's tenant, Teresa. At 9 this morning, the High Court enforcement agents are set to turn up and physically remove her from the property.
Part of me thinks that we might turn up and she's already gone, just out of spite, because obviously you have to pay to get the bailiffs in.
It's another £1,000 we've paid to get her out today. So not only is it £5.5 grand, it's another grand on top. So it's almost comical numbers now.
As Rachel has had to pay for the High Court enforcement agents to attend, her tenant now owes her almost £7,000 in rent and legal fees.
I actually want her to be there because I actually want to physically see her being evicted and go through that pressure and that embarrassment, really, after what she's put us through.
The agent's first job is to check whether Teresa is still there.
How you doing? All right?
Oh, yeah.
Do you have keys for the property?
I think so, as long as she's not changed the locks.
If you give me the keys, I'll knock first.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool, lovely.
Hello?
It appears the tenants already left, leaving the couple with a hefty bill for the enforcement agents they didn't need.
She's wasted £1,000 because I could have come and not had to, obviously, instruct bailiffs to come and do this for me. So, again, she just seems to think that I've got money growing on a tree.
As there's nothing more for the agents to do here, they take their leave.
Can I have the grand back? Thank you anyway.
All the best. Yeah.
See you later.
Thank you. Cheers.
Then Rachel receives a call from her letting agent and she sees an opportunity to ask Teresa about the missing money.
I got a call to say that she's going to be dropping the keys off to the New Eltham branch within the hour. So we are now rushing to New Eltham, really, just so that we can confront her. I just feel like we need closure.
Landlord Rachel Barham and her boyfriend Chris are on their way to confront her tenant Teresa, who owes over £5,500 in unpaid rent. Teresa has no idea the couple are waiting for her at the letting agency.
She's just driven straight past, really slowly. She's just driven straight past. Straight past us. Stay there.
Finally, in the letting agency, Rachel gets to speak her mind to her ex-tenant.
Where's our money?
You haven't even tried to pay any rent. You could have £100 a month, but you haven't. £7,500 you've cost me, excluding the damage that you've left.
Teresa claims she's been trying to get housing benefit to help, but that doesn't wash with Rachel.
I felt sorry for you at one point. I would have been willing to let you stay there.
Do you own your car?
Chris, shut up, please.
No.
Shut up.
I'm going to a car.
Sorry. Forgot what I was saying now.
See you later, Teresa.
As the tension rises, Teresa decides it's time to leave, but sees Chris standing next to her car.
Tell your boyfriend.
Right.
So I can
Where
go
are you
in
parked?
and do things up.
It's all right, don't worry. Get in the car.
Hey?
Go and get in the car, please.
Why?
Because you're being threatening, that's why. Go and get in the car, please.
What's going on?
You need to go and get in the car.
Yeah, what's going on?
Nothing. She's just trying to go back, but she feels intimidated, so can you go and get in the car?
Are you joking?
No, you are, Chris. It's a woman, and you getting angry makes them feel intimidated, so go and get in the car,
She
please.
owes you £7,000.
I know, Chris, but please just go and sit in the car.
She's going to walk away with this, you'll get nothing.
I'm not going to get anything anyway.
As soon as Rachel gets Chris out of the way, Teresa heads off. But Rachel knows the chances of getting the missing rent back are slim.
Even though I don't achieve anything from it, I feel like at least I've vented some of my anger on her. I think I've stayed quite calm. Chris, on the other hand, maybe not so. But then I wanted to shout at her, but it's not going to get me anywhere, so at least she's out. Whether I see any of that money again is another matter.
Carla Shoebridge Hart's tenants haven't paid their full rent for over 2 years. Now she's had enough and has called in eviction specialist Paul Champlina from Landlord Action for help.
We're in Colchester today in Essex, and we're got to go and serve an eviction notice on some tenants who owe Carla, my landlord, £9,200.
Carla is now struggling to pay the mortgage and is at risk of having the property repossessed. Her only chance to save it is to get her troublesome tenants out. But Paul's worried it could be too late.
Today is the first step in getting her property back, albeit I need to manage her expectations. It's going to take 4 or 5 months. Hi, Carla. Nice to meet you. Paul.
Good
Hi,
to
B.
see
Nice
you.
to meet you.
Hiya.
You okay?
Today, Paul's going to serve a Section 8 notice. This gives the tenants 14 days to pay up or leave.
Okay, so let's do this. The windows are open. Hi there, sorry to disturb you. I've got the notices for Carla.
Right.
Which is the eviction notices for the non-payment of rent, because there's actually £9,200 owing.
£9,200?
Yeah, it's all broken down. That's what's owing.
Hold on, £9,000?
£9,200. We put the breakdown all in there.
Right.
Okay,
Well,
they're on the notices.
Okay, well, we'll have to take that up. We'll sort something out.
Okay, hopefully we'll. But if it's not paid, then unfortunately we have to go to court and issue proceedings and get Carla's property back. Okay, do you understand?
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, no problems.
Okay, thank you. Have a good day. Take care. Bye. Okay, served.
Yes.
I met with the tenant, and it was obvious for me that he wasn't going to pay the debt and he wasn't going to leave in the 14 days from serving the notice.
Even though they've never paid the full rent from the beginning of their tenancy over 2 years ago, the tenants still seem surprised.
For this to be dropped on us, it's a little bit of a bombshell. You know, things have spiralled. Richard's not been very well. He had to take time off last year, and everything just starts adding up.
Maybe a few payments on the rent were maybe short or light. I don't know exactly how much, because obviously the wife deals with that. She's more finger on the pulse with the money.
I hadn't been keeping a tab on it.
These two tenants, they did bury their head in the sand, and they didn't have a clue how much money they owed.
Unfortunately, not keeping a tab on their rental payments has resulted in their possible eviction and a highly stressed landlord.
I have to work hard to earn the money to keep a house, to keep a family in my house, basically. But I mean, I'm 61 this year, you know. I thought I'd be able to take it a bit easier. I've worked all my life, and now I thought, you know, seeing the grandchildren, that sort of thing, but it's not happening.
But I wish I could fix it for her, and I can't. It's horrible, absolutely horrible.
Carla must now wait 14 days until the notice runs out. If her tenants don't leave, she'll be forced to pay additional legal fees and take them to court, an extra expense she can barely afford. It's been 4 months since Rachel and Chris got their troublesome tenant out of their home. But Rachel is still reliving the whole traumatic experience.
When I go to the property, I still get butterflies. Still makes me a little bit sick because I half expect to see her. I do feel bitter because I tried to be nice, I tried to be caring, because obviously everybody's situation, things happen, but it was the way that she was about it. It was like she was laughing at me, and she didn't show any remorse through any of it, and that's the biggest stress that I have, is there was no remorse there, just laughing at me, which makes my blood boil.
The 6-month ordeal was hugely stressful for Rachel and her boyfriend Chris.
It was awkward for Chris because I know he just wanted to help me, but I know he felt helpless because he couldn't physically do anything. He tried speaking to the letting agency, he tried obviously speaking to the tenant when we saw her, and nothing helped. So it definitely put a strain on the relationship. But the good news is we have got a new tenant. I think they've been in about 6 weeks now. The fact that they've paid rent when they're supposed to is more than the previous tenant did. So it's definitely an improvement already.
It's over 14 days since Carla Shoebridge-Hart served her tenants with an eviction notice. Now she and her best friend B are on their way to the property to find out whether her tenants are leaving.
Shaking enough as it is.
But hopefully, when we get there, they will say, "Here we go, Carla, have your keys back. Thank you for letting us live in your house for the last 3 years.
Yes.
And then they'll drive off into the sunset.
Rather than take her tenants to court, Carla is trying a different tactic. She's agreed to write off their £9,200 debt if they leave without a fight.
I want my house back. And so I offered them to forget about the rent arrears if they were to move out.
You know what? We always say to landlords, we'll definitely get your property back, but you're most probably never going to get your money back. So it made sense to see if she could do some sort of deal with the tenant.
For Carla, it's worth it. She's struggling to pay the mortgage and she's exhausted.
I have a newborn granddaughter of 2 months and I can't go and see her because I can't afford to. I can't afford to go and see my granddaughter because I have to pay for the house that somebody else lives in.
It's a difficult day for everyone, but it's make or break for Carla.
Thank you.
To her relief, the tenants are as good as their word and are leaving.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
Sorry, let's come to this.
Thank you, Carla.
Carla's long battle with her tenants is finally over.
I thought I would want to celebrate now.
I feel really flat now.
But I don't know what to say. They've had £10,000 worth of rent-free living. I will get the locks changed so that I know they can't come back in.
With the tenants gone and the locks changed, Carla can, for the first time in 2 years, begin to relax.
Just imagine big table with chairs, lights,
Yeah.
all round. I'm going to just enjoy the peace and slowly, bit by bit, take my house back. And then start cleaning at some point.
Not today.
Not today.
Not today.
11 months after her tenants left, Carla is heading to the house again.
Well, I have a new tenant at the property who's transformed the place and turned it back into a real home, and you'll meet her.
Carla's best friend B moved in 11 months ago, and the arrangement seems to be a huge success.
You got the kettle on? Lovely. I can do with a cup of tea. It was on the cards whether to keep it or whether to sell it, but B fell in love with it and asked if she could move in, because she was in between places at the time. It fell into place, didn't it, really?
Yeah. Love it. It's such a lovely house. You walk in the door and it's just, I'm home. It's really nice.
You need to sit outside.
I spend
Sunday morning.
all the time outside.
Right. Yes, of course.
With the rental income from her new tenant, Carla can finally visit her granddaughter and put the past behind her.
Listen to the birds.
Yeah.
You see, that is listening to those birds is what started the healing process, being out here.
I'm happy to stay here until I pop off this mortal coil, because it's my home and I love it.
It is Bee's home and it's a home again for me, and I do want her to be happy here, not just live here but be happy here, you know. Hence I bring the gin and she supplies the tonic.
Hamdi Abdul Qadir has been battling to get her home back for almost a year and a half. But today, after months of legal wrangling, she's finally evicting her tenants.
I feel very optimistic. I feel very excited because today is the day that I can get my flat back, hopefully.
Because her tenants have successfully stayed in her home for over a year without paying any rent, she suspects they won't go quietly.
I'm very nervous because I don't know what to expect. You know, is he going to be aggressive? Is he going to refuse? I don't know. I don't know what to expect, so I'm nervous. I hope that he's in so that I can confront him.
Hamdi has accelerated the eviction process and hired High Court Sheriff Scott.
Morning.
Good morning, Scott.
Hi. Are they still in the property?
Yeah,
Yes,
they're still in the property.
Yeah.
Yesterday,
Okay.
I went to the house. I just passed and I saw the lights on.
He'll definitely be leaving today, whether it takes 10 minutes or 2 hours, but he will be leaving. So
Oh, that's
we'll
good.
get that sorted, okay? Right, let's go and knock on the door now and wake them up.
Yeah.
When we knock on the door, if you want to just stay a little way back and I'll explain to them who I am and what's happening,
Okay.
just in case they're not too pleased to see us.
Okay. Is this us?
Just here, yeah?
There's no answer.
Hello?
They could let themselves in, but it's not going to be that simple.
Yeah, that's
Change
okay.
the locks on me. Can we break in?
Yeah, we'll get in.
The locksmith assesses the problem and decides there's only one way in.
If anyone's in there, mate, just shout.
Place is definitely empty.
Really?
I think so.
Perfect.
Finally, they're in. The tenants appear to have left.
You gone?
Yeah, all gone.
The flat may be empty, but it's not in good condition.
Oh my God, look how they left my toilet. There's molds everywhere. The whole house is full of molds.
But worse still, the flat is emptier than Hamdi was expecting.
Where is my clothes? Where is my wardrobe? I had a big wardrobe here. This is really, really, really bad. I had this big stuff that I usually exercise on. It costed me £600, it's gone. My big flat screen TV is gone. Like, they just took my big wardrobe. That costed me nearly £1,000, it's gone. Oh. It sucks. It really does.
For Hamdi, this final insult proves too much for her to take.
I'm sure there is nice people out there, you know, that would have appreciated if I helped them. But because of him, I would not put myself in that position again. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. Never. Wouldn't.
You want to sign just there? Well, I'll put my little cross.
But her home is finally back in her hands, albeit not in the state she had hoped.
That's it. That's all done. At least you got it back.
Thank you very
Thanks a
much.
lot.
Thank you
Okay,
very
see
much
you
for your
later.
help. Bye-bye. At least I've got my house back.
Her locksmith secures the place.
Thank you very much, Paul. Thank you. I've got my keys. Changed the locks. Quite happy with that. At least I've got my power back.
After a year and a half of living with her baby in her mum's spare bedroom, finally she can be reunited with her husband and move back into her flat.
I feel I can breathe again. I feel relieved, stress-free, and now I just need to focus on how to get the house cleaned up and move on with my life.
It's 8 weeks since Hamdi got her home back.
That's it, keep going.
After months of legal wrangling, she just wants to move on and get her property back in order.
It was horrible. My wash machine, the cooker, the fridge, I replaced them with a used one. It appeared to be a used one in a really bad condition. So we had to get rid of all of it and we bought brand new ones. This is the bedroom. We've done a lot of painting, got rid of all the damps. With my wardrobe, what I've decided to do is I've decided to build like a built-in wardrobe so that no one could get these ones in the future.
Even though Hamdi loved the flat when she used to live here, her ordeal has made her feel differently.
I wanted to sell the house because every time when I walked in the flat, I just felt like it was a stranger's home. I did not feel it was my home anymore. I was heartbroken and I just did not want to see this flat ever again. But my husband managed to convince me not to sell it, that we should rent it instead. So I've decided to take it off the market and rent it out instead.
To Hamdi's delight, her younger sister has decided to become her new tenant and has already started to move in.
When I come over to help her do the cleaning and do bits and pieces around the house, I do things my way and she has got things her way. So we do clash sometimes and she'll be telling me, hey, it's my flat, it's not yours. So we do have moments like that.
Next time.
It's my property, I want to get it back.
A mistake made by a London landlord causes a legal nightmare.
You lock me out. Don't worry, we'll meet in court.
An Essex couple
Oh my God.
battle to evict a tenant who won't go.
I'll never rent again. It's too much hassle.
And a landlord in Northampton
I ain't got no money, mate. I've got no money. I'd pay the guy. If I had money, I'd pay him, mate.
has a standoff with a tenant on the edge.
I have my head, mate. You know what I mean? I could kill somebody. I'm ready to kill somebody. I am.